Hey, welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm in Denver, Colorado. What's this cow over my shoulder? That's Jim. I don't know. There's a cow over my shoulder. I'm at the Denver Comedy Works. Has this very cool high-end condo, which we talk about. Me and Jeff talk about the condo on the show, so I won't get into it. But I've got a cow over my shoulder. And I'm kind of enjoying it. The cow has pensive eyes. And I have been on the road for the last 2 weeks straight. I have 2 more weeks to go. I'm going home tomorrow for 2 days. Those will pretty much be my only days home. And I can't wait to see my wife. I miss her. I love her. Honey, if you're listening, I'll be right home. I wish we could have phone sex, but I don't think I could ever do that. I don't think I could do that because I don't think I could look her in the eye when I got home. It's just I have too much shame. I think I'd be too embarrassed if I don't know. Like, I've never been able to role play. Role playing hasn't been a big thing. Like, the only role I've played is a guy who's not ashamed that he's currently having sex. That's the role playing that I do. I role play that I'm a Protestant, like a Lutheran. Lutheran swing, baby. Yeah, from what I understand. But I'm trying to stay sane. I'm working out every day. I'm meditating every day. I'm dealing with the social media as much as I can, trying to get back to people. And I got to thank everybody who has been so incredibly supportive. The special's been out for 3 days. It's got about 150,000 views, which is so far beyond what I expected. And I owe it all to you guys telling each other, posting it on your socials, leaving comments is huge. That boosts the algorithm. And so keep watching it. Watch it again. Just watch it again. Don't tell YouTube you're doing that to jack me up. Just do it. This is really helping me out. And some people are donating, which you can do on the YouTube channel. That's very nice. If you want to kick in a few bucks, why not? Why not? I went fucking broke making this thing. I might as well make a few bucks back from you if you enjoy it. And I also want to thank Logan Potter, my social media guru. She's amazing. Michael O'Brien and Val and Ari Shafir especially. Holy shit. This guy, I talked about it a little bit on Sunday Papers, but Ari Shafir has gone so far above and beyond what a friend should ever do for another friend. Every day he texts me 2 or 3 times. You got to do this. You're not doing this. He's reposting. He's telling other people to post. He's just been amazing. He actually donated. He donated $50 to me on top of like putting me on his podcast and cutting up clips and putting them out. And I mean, I don't know. Did I blow him at some point and blocked it out? But he's the best, and obviously Rogan for letting me tape at his club and putting me on his podcast this week. Did a bunch of podcasts in the last week. Rogan's came out. I did Shane Gillis's podcast. That came out. Santino's came out. Ari's came out. Marin's. Jim Norton. And I'm coming up. Still doing a bunch. I've got Kill Tony comes out in a couple weeks. I'm doing Your Mom's House with Segura. And who else? Bill Burr's having me out. So the train's still rolling, but so far so good. And thank you. I want to go. I don't want to bore you guys, but thank you so much. I'm going to keep this short because I had a nice long talk with my guest today, and we should get to that. Other dates coming up. I got the Mothership in Austin next weekend, or this weekend as you hear this. Temecula, California, September 21st, and then Alaska, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tacoma, San Fran, Cleveland, Atlanta, Janesville, Wisconsin, Nyack, New York, Raleigh, Milwaukee. All these dates at Fitzdog.com. Get some tickets. All this material will be new. Nothing from the special. I've already got a new hour. that I feel like is just as good as the old hour, which is, I feel good about. All right. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that the support for Fitzdog Radio comes from my bookie. I love football. I'm so excited this season's here. And what makes me more excited is getting involved with some good old-fashioned gambling. I remember last year, right out of the gate, I was doing my bookie, and I got involved with the first game of the season, right out of the gate. Jets-Bills, 9-11. Aaron Rodgers comes out, who I can't stand. And he comes out, all this hype, and he was on Hard Knocks on HBO, and I just, whatever. So he comes out, and then, as we all know, gets knocked out in like the second play of the game. And you think, all right, the Jets, once again, this is over. And they win the game in overtime. And I won because I bet against my beliefs. And I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but I think he's a great quarterback. So anyway, I think he's back this year. So I still have to fill out my bets. But my bookie is, it's fun. If you want to get involved, you go on there and you put in the code FITZ, and you get they double your money up to $2,000. It's like 100% bonus on your first deposit. So, I mean, I'll get into it more later. I don't understand how my bookie is making money because they seem a little too generous, but you can sign up for free. They've got these promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays. If your bet hits, you win big. And if it doesn't, and this is the part I don't really understand, they refund your wager, which, look, they're a sponsor, and I want them to stay a sponsor, and I'd like it if they don't go out of business. So I think that they should cut the shit and not do this. But I would, if I were you, take advantage of them while they're still solvent. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes with their Super, Survivor, and Square contests. Huge cash rewards. When you're ready to get started, use my promo code FITZ, F-I-T-Z, to claim a bonus that doubles your money up to $2,000. 100% bonus on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with promo code FITZ before you even place a bet. And you know what? You're going to have so much fun that I want you to share it with me. Well, also, I should say there's a loyalty rewards program. So the more you play, the more you win, exclusive giveaways, all kinds of stuff. So anytime you want to get involved, just email me, fitzdog@gmail.com. Let me know fun bets you made that paid off, and we'll talk about it on the show. Okay, let's get to it. My guest today is a headlining powerhouse. He was a finalist on America's Got Talent. He goes on a lot of TV shows that you would know and love him for. He's very handsome. He came over to the condo today, and we hung out for a long time. Really enjoyed it. Here's my chat with the great Jeff Dye. I'm sitting in the, there's only one comedy condo in the country that me and about 30 or 40 other comics will stay at that are at our level.
100%.
And it's the Denver Comedy Works. Wendy Curtis runs it. She's got this beautiful 2-bedroom Art Deco. She's got amazing style, a lot of flair. And it's really like it's a fun condo. It's not a place if I was single, I mean, you're single.
Yeah.
What's your experience in staying in this condo?
Oh, so I love the location. It's a great place.
The location is right near the club.
And it's terribly decored. And I love Wendy to death. Big fan of Wendy. I'm not, I would say it to her face. It's humiliating.
To bring a girl back
To bring
here.
an adult woman to this place. Because I don't know what your life is after the shows, but when you bring a woman back, they assume it's like, oh, this is your everyday.
Right.
You know? If I'm staying at the Four Seasons, they think I'm at a Four Seasons all the time. If they see me at a Motel 6, they go, he must be at a Motel 6 all the time. He's poor. It's this one experience that I have. So they take him here, and I'm like, I have to convince them that this isn't my place.
That you're not trisexual or quadsexual.
I've never even heard of that.
No, but it is amazing in our line of work when we go out. There's a week, like last week, I was at the Four Seasons. I went in and I did Rogan, and he puts you at the Four Seasons.
Great spot.
And then the week before that, I was in New York doing podcasts for my special, and I was on my own dime, and I went on a hotel tonight, and this place was called the Grand Central Suites or something. I was like, it's got
good?
5-star ratings. I went there. It was a fucking guest quarter suite. They didn't tell you. I mean, their guest quarters are fine.
Yeah.
But it's 4 walls. There's no. Here's the little things you can tell I'm not a good hotel. There's the shampoo is on the wall in the shower. It's a dispenser. Bolted in. There's no tissue paper. They just want you to use the toilet paper instead of giving you a separate tissue paper. No coffee maker.
But if you had that exact same hotel in New York City, you'd be like, this will work.
No, that's where I was. In New York, I was in
that
New York
makes
City.
total sense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but it's just
in
so
New
funny.
York, the room is the size of a bed.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, I guess this is fine because it's New
York.
York.
Well, it is fine. Yeah, because you're not there much. You're barely there.
Right.
You're out all day. You're out all night. But then it's just like for some people, their standard of living is in a very thin range, whether they're on vacation or they're home, because they only vacation 1 or 2 weeks a year.
Sure.
We're basically vacationing 25 weekends, 30 weekends a year. And it's just the wild swing of what you have to be able to accept.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they go like, all right, here's your hotel. And it's like in a corporate area. So now there's no restaurants that are walking distance. The hotel doesn't have a restaurant. Well, how did you think out eating for your guests?
It's a 15-minute Uber just to get a coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll stay at that coffee shop for like 3 hours because I'm like, well, I don't want to Uber back now. I'll just do all my work here.
And you don't even... and then the next week, you're staying in a beautiful hotel.
But that's
with
a perfect
spa.
metaphor for our industry.
Yeah.
I think. And I don't know. I can't speak to like what you do. I'm very puzzled by your career.
So is my wife.
But for me, I will do a terrible... Or not terrible. They're all fine, but I'll do like a bar show.
Yeah.
And people are fine with me. They're like, hey, he's fine.
Yeah.
And then the next night, I sold out a packed comedy club, and I'm king guy. Everyone's like, that's the guy.
Right.
So, and it's like, it feels like every night is a different expectation, you know?
Yeah.
And even with the people you keep the company of, you know, like, and at least in my career, like one night I'm in Utah with a bunch of like really nice Mormon fans who are great. They're telling me about their wife and their kids. We're eating pizza at a pizza parlor. The next night, I'm with the chef of that comedy club at a strip joint, and they're all doing cocaine. You know, it's like it's so different, and it's just night to night. You can't get an expectation.
Yeah, it swings wildly, and then also some clubs you show up and you come down the escalator, and there's a guy in a black suit and a tie, and he's got an iPad with your name written on it. Takes your bag and
feels great.
Right, and then other times you show up and they're like, "Yeah, take an Uber to the hotel." So now I'm in fucking Cleveland trying to figure out their system. And so he's like, oh, I got to take the shuttle bus to a lot, and then you order. It's like, come on.
Yeah, you think you've arrived every other day. You feel, It's funny you said that you don't stay in condos. This is one of the only ones that...
The only one.
So, and I have a no condo rule, and I should probably enforce it here too. But why Daniel Tosh told me he doesn't do it because he's like, I don't want to stay in the same bed that Darren Carter, the party starter, stayed in the week before me. And I thought that was a great comic to reference. I love Darren Carter, but that's a great reference of like someone you don't want to sleep in the bed.
The farty starter in your bed.
It's just a perfect anecdote. But I don't do it because I don't want to mix. Like, let's say I have a crazy night and, you know, I break something or I bring a person back that's wiling out on drugs or, whatever, like... Whatever may happen in the hotel room, I want that to be between me and the hotel.
Yes.
I can come down and say, hey, whatever it costs, let's deal with. I don't need to bring my boss into this.
Yeah.
I don't want now there's gossip around the comedy club. Did you hear what happened at the condo?
Yeah.
So it's like that's the main reason I won't.
No, I sell my pins, which I gave you one the other night. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And
great pin.
It's a great pin.
It is a great pin.
I should sell them on my website, but I only.
But
sell
then you have
them
to ship it.
Then I got to ship it.
Yeah, you sell them for 10, you lose 4 on the cent.
Exactly.
I know.
So they come in these little plastic,
Cocaine
sealable
bags.
And that's my thing is like, I realized there's a couple that are laying around and I was like, oh, the housekeeper's going to say, yeah, he's doing crack
we
or
know
he's doing
him.
coke.
We know Greg.
Right.
When he stays at the condo, Yeah, exactly. I'm worried about that all the time. In fact, one time, I've never shared the story. I stayed at a condo. This is what started my no stay at condo rules. I worked at a comedy club and
How long you been doing it?
Since 2005.
Oh, you're a baby.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
So in 2008, I stayed at this condo, and it's beautiful, and it's great, but they wouldn't shut the hell up about not bringing people back.
Yeah.
And at the time, I have a girlfriend, so, back in LA, so I was like, okay, good. This will keep me honest. This will be whatever. I won't bring anyone back. I was very respectful about their stupid rule about not having anyone there, not even friends. They were like, don't even bring the opener here. Damn. And I was like, okay. So I watched baseball, and then it was freezing cold. It was like 3 feet of snow, so it wasn't like a lot really to do. So I kind of stayed at the condo, which was nice.
Yeah.
I come back home. 2 days later, I'm getting all these calls from my agent. I was like, what's up? He's like, dude, they're furious at you. And I was like, what? It's a good weekend. I hit some bonuses. What's the problem? And they're like, well, I guess they said you brought someone back to the condo. They found condoms in the trash. Whoever you let stay over or you left the shower running, so it flooded the whole bathroom.
No.
And now they've got to remodel the whole bathroom.
What?
And I'm going, I didn't bring anyone there.
Yeah.
They made that very clear.
Uh-huh.
And so we went through this weird argument for over a decade. They were under the belief that I was bringing some person back that ruined the thing. The worst part about it was that every few months I would hear some comic go, oh man, we heard about what you did up at that
They kept
club.
talking about it.
Yeah, because they used me as the example for why you don't bring people back there. Like, because we had Jeff. Like, they made it sound like it was me.
What
But
club
I was like,
was it?
Well, I don't know if I want to share it because I think what happened is maybe somebody was cheating and they used me as like the fall guy.
Yeah.
They brought a girl there,
Right.
used some condoms, whatever, did whatever,
Fuck
people
that
do.
guy or girl.
And
I don't know
then
if it's a
and then
girl.
was like, must have been Jeff Dye. He was here last, and you know how he is. And like it was a big
well,
deal.
that is how you are, though, isn't it?
Well, no, but like I don't use condoms.
And how do they know you weren't just jacking off with a condom?
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't want to come
be
too
safe,
fast.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
try to
already
be
get the
safe.
lube on there.
Trying to get used to it.
Yeah, you don't have to clean up afterwards.
Well, what's weird about it is like my girlfriend was like, well, what did you? And I was like, no. And then that club didn't book me for like years. It was terrible. And
Well, the other thing is, I was thinking about condoms. Like the first time I put a condom on, I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I didn't know that there was one side you unrolled.
Oh, yeah.
On the other side, you just get stuck in, and now you've ruined all the lube because you stuck it on your crown. And so I thought to myself, why didn't I practice alone once?
yeah, that's smart.
Just figure it out. And my friend James Lemer had this joke. He goes, I remember the first time I put a condom on. I was screaming my head off. I had no idea it didn't have to cover your balls.
It's a great joke.
That's a great joke.
Yeah.
He was a killer. I started in Boston, and there was just a lot of great joke writers, like Jonathan Groff, who ended up being like, he's one of the biggest sitcom showrunners in Hollywood right now.
I've heard that name.
Guy named Brian Kiley,
I know Brian. I love Brian Kiley.
Brian was the first monologue writer on Conan.
Yep, still there.
And he wrote till the fucking end.
Yeah, he was
Every
amazing.
fucking day for 25 years, that dude sat down and he wrote killer monologue jokes. He's a machine.
That's another reason I like podcasting.
Right.
Like the fact that we're doing this right now. Like one of the things, so they were saying, like me saying maybe Howard Stern, so it doesn't respect the podcast thing. I like it because even if we weren't recording, I get to do this with you.
Yeah.
Right? I remember Brian Kiley, he loves baseball. I love baseball. His son loves baseball. We have these great
I
conversations.
think his son played college baseball.
Yeah, we'd be in the green room at Comedy Magic. We'd have these great baseball comments, and I'd always go, "Hey, we should get a beer and like watch the game or something." And Brian's like, "I'm married," and he would just no. But when I said, "Brian, come do my podcast at my house. He's like, sure. Because he can justify that to his family.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go to this guy's place. We're just going to record a podcast for an hour.
Right. It's
but
work.
that's the hang.
Yep.
You know, and so it's like.
Cell phones are off.
Yeah.
No
that's
one's
nice.
You know, if you're in a club, the club hang is also great.
Love the club
but
hang.
you get interrupted a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of like people that come in and interrupt. But
you're talking about Boston.
So James Leamer was one of these guys, and he wrote killer jokes. Then Louis C.K. became a writer on Conan O'Brien.
Really?
When it first started. Yeah,
Didn't know
Louis
that.
was one of the first writers. Became the head writer.
Really?
And he was like,
Conan is to The Simpsons as Louis is to Conan.
there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have never known that. The early years of Conan had Louis C.K. as a writer. That's
Had
pretty
Louis
fascinating.
C.K. It had a guy named Dino Stamatopoulos, who is a huge writer
Cool
now.
name.
Who else was on there early on? Anyway, James Leamer came on. He hired James Leamer. James didn't get it.
Oh, really?
He would take 2-hour lunches and walk down to the village and, vacations. And like, meanwhile, there's like thousands of people dying for a network writing job. So
It is hard to give your jokes to someone else, or to write for someone else takes a gift too.
I don't know. I think it just takes humility. I mean, the ability to do it is there. If you can write a joke, you can write a joke.
Well, but it's my pride of giving it away.
Right,
my ego of being like, well, I want to be the star.
Yeah.
Why would I give this gold to? And I wouldn't be able to watch someone do my joke and not be like, I wrote that. That's my joke.
Have you never written on a show?
Never written on a show, no.
Wow.
But I've had great writers that have made me very funny on things. Like, Scotty Landis is?
Yeah.
Scotty Landis, he does the with Kurt Brownell the Bananas.
That's right. Right.
Podcast, but then also he's an incredible writer and such a funny guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like the secret to this show. Like he was like the lineman.
Yeah.
I get to be the wide receiver, the quarterback that gets all the love, but like he's the one making those blocks that gives us the.
You watching that show Receiver right now on Netflix?
No.
Dude, it's badass.
What is it? What is the?
It's like, well, you know how they have like Hard Knocks and they have all the F1 and the golf. They've gotten very into sports documentaries, and this one is about the four best wide receivers in the league.
Okay.
So it's
I saw the one about quarterbacks and I hated it. It had Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, and I was like,
and Aaron Rodgers.
No, he wasn't on it. He was on Hard Knocks. He was on Hard Knocks
when they
with
did
the
the Jets. Right.
But no, the quarterbacks one, I was like, oh, so his wife just wants to be like a Kardashian or something. She's like, I'm like, I've known Patrick since high school. I didn't even like him, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the other quarterback's house, and he's just like a nice guy. He's just a nerd.
Yeah.
But nice guys are great. I love nice guys.
Kirk Cousins is the nice guy.
We don't need a show for nice guys where he's
that's why the golf one was so fucking dull.
Yeah, because
they
golf
were
guys,
all nice guys.
They all had the same house. Have you noticed that?
They got the same stucco. Like
every golfer has the same goddamn house.
Yep, just dry, like boring, no style. Doesn't
Cape
feel
Cod,
homey.
Yeah.
But
the
anyway,
receivers one's good.
The receiver one is
receivers are famously flashy black guys, so that it might be a little more interesting.
Right. Well, DeAndre Adams is very flashy.
I don't know who that is, but I'm guessing he's good.
Justin, what's his name? Jefferson is very flashy. He started that dance. You know that dance where they score it and they go like.
Oh yeah.
I can't even do it.
That's pretty good, actually. I wish this was on video. Okay, so that one's better then.
That one.
The quarterbacks one sucked.
Yeah.
I tried to like it, and I like those players. There's nothing wrong with Kirk Cousins and Mahomes.
George Kittle is the best.
I don't need to see your wife.
Personality in the NFL.
We need to start making that a thing. At least for the stuff I watch. You don't need to bring your wife into this.
Nope.
She's not interesting.
No.
Let me guess, she's very pretty.
I don't know a single comedian's wife.
She has great taste in clothing. Look at her clothing. She has great taste.
Yeah.
She's good at shopping with your money. But what does she do?
She throws parties for your son that cost $50,000.
Yeah, and then gets mad at you because you're, not the life of the party or whatever, but you're an athlete. Why would you be the life of the party?
You don't want to mingle with your kids' your kids' friends' parents from preschool who are just going to ask you the same 20 inane questions. How tall are you? Do you ever get hurt? Where'd you play?
Do you ever get nervous? Seriously, I don't know how we've normalized this that kind of show. It's very strange. I couldn't care at all. Even on Full Swing, they show their wives. Again, all very beautiful, but they all say the same things.
Yeah.
Oh, when he's playing bad, it's really stressful. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he just said that. We know it's
Has
probably
anybody
stressful.
done a show? I was thinking about this. Has anybody done a show like this? An in-depth study behind the scenes of the family and professional and the condo hotel life, the club, the actual machinations of showing up to a club, ordering food between shows.
We might just be biased, but that sounds
merch.
great.
I mean, that's kind of an interesting
And don't show any of the stand-up.
No,
We don't care.
stand-up.
We've seen it. We can see the stand-up, but like show what the actual lifestyle is.
Exactly.
I have a good reputation for how much fun I have on the road.
Uh-huh.
I'm never not doing something on the road. A lot of times, and
Are
a lot
you
of
pitching yourself to my show right now?
no. But what I am saying, actually, yeah. If you do the show,
You're in the pilot,
But what I was
my friend.
yeah.
We need a.
Just tell me what everyone in the network goes. Oh, you're in the back of our head. Don't worry, we've always got you on the board.
You're
We're
on the
consider-
short list.
Yeah,
because we know you have buzz and heat.
Never
yeah.
do it. But what I was gonna say is that like a lot of the books I've read or the stories I've heard is like a lot of comics really don't like the road, and I think it's because they drink a lot or they're addicts or maybe the towns they don't like, or for whatever reason they just kind of stay at the hotel or the condo. And I'm the opposite. I will find a million things to do in the town.
Really?
I don't like to be in.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't do it. Well, it's not that I can't do it. I just don't want to do it.
That's amazing. I'm the opposite because I have ADHD.
Okay.
And so the idea of being alone in a place where there's no distractions, where not necessarily that I'm sitting and writing. I am actually doing a lot of writing this week because when I'm at this club, I take advantage of it because I know I'm going to come home with 5 new minutes if I push myself.
Great room.
It's a
The
great
downtown
room.
one is infinitely better than the south one.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, because they're right on the stage.
Yep.
There's not like a balcony, and there's nothing wrong with a balcony.
No,
it's
and
just
they're
that
bolted in.
What does a balcony mean? It means high ceilings.
Yep.
It's what we don't
Yep.
shut the hell up about,
Right.
you know. And so it's just a little different.
Well, in
That's
the
all.
downtown room, the seats are bolted to the ground. You
Yeah.
can't move. You
They're
are,
like,
and you're facing straight at the stage.
They're shoulder to shoulder.
The bar is outside the room.
The energy is great, and the reputation of the downtown club is that it's the best club in America. Like
Yeah.
it's got a great rep.
Yep.
People like being there. You know, like with the Comedy Store when, you know, some terrible comic that's been doing it for 3 months is still killing. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have trouble on the road, but I always kill here. You're like, no doubt.
Right.
There's that excitement to be at a famous place.
Yes, and the crowd
audience
feels it. The audience
crowd,
knows it.
And same with Downtown Comedy Works. People,
the
they're excited to
Mothership
be
is
there.
like that. San Francisco Punchline is like that. There's places that Acme is like that. People are excited and they know the reputation.
Yeah.
They want to be there. But so tell me about you on the road then. So like when you were in downtown Denver, last time you were here, what did you do in downtown Denver?
So over my 19 years of doing this, I've accumulated just people in every city, friends, people that do different things. So my first thing is when I get to the town, I've already kind of texted everyone like, hey, I'm coming to town. So like today will be a pool party after this.
Really?
Yeah, if you want to come, you're more than welcome.
I have ADD. I can't go out.
Well, like we'll go to a pool party, but then like even if it's just walking around, I like walking around. I love a stroll. Me and Dennis Regan used to always talk about how we love a stroll. You know, and I liked comedians in cars because they would do that.
Yeah.
They would just go walk. Because when you're walking, you just get to talk to the person you're with. And if you pop into a store, I don't even have to like what the store's selling. I'll be like, let's just look in here, you know?
And then after shows, will you like go out with audience members?
Yeah, I'll hang with the audience after the shows, but that's getting less and less. Less because I stopped drinking. I'm sober. But then secondly...
Secondly?
Secondly. Is that one? Secondly?
No, that's not a word.
But B. Should have went with A and B, huh? Not first and second.
A and B. I love when people go A and then they never do B.
Yeah, you go,
and
what
you're
happened?
distracted for the next half hour. Like, this is a long A.
The fuck is B? Just said they're talking about other subjects.
Or they go A and then they go and 2 and you go, no.
Yeah, wait a minute. You didn't go to college, did you?
So A, you stop drinking.
Yeah, I don't drink, so that changes it. You know,
Yeah.
it's not as easy for me to just like do shots with them and hang out. But then too, as I've gotten more successful, it's become kind of a little bit of a zoo.
Yeah.
I didn't ever anticipated that. Like I thought, oh, I won't care. I'll love the attention, but it's a little overwhelming. Like
No, some people like Bert Kreischer, because I sometimes I go on his tour bus on that crazy tour he does. He walks through them all, and every single person that comes up, selfie, conversation, stays calm, and then transitions right back into a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And then he does his show, and then he talks
He's
to
like a
people that
machine.
work for him. He's like, he is a fucking machine all day long, doing social media, talking to his assistant, and then during the day, it's never just sitting in the tour bus.
Yeah.
It's like, no, today we're going to a wiffle ball tournament.
Yeah.
One day they picked him up. I mean, we went in golf carts to an amusement park.
Yep. I'm just a far less successful version of Bert.
Oh my God.
It's fun to do all the things.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it stems from my parents. My parents didn't do anything.
Oh.
My parents worked, but then like I was not like a victim of abuse, but like definitely a victim of like neglect. So like me and my sisters, my parents didn't watch TV. They didn't have hobbies. They didn't have friends. They didn't have family over. We didn't do holidays. They literally didn't want to do anything.
What did they do at night?
They would kind of just sit, talk to each other.
Did they drink?
They didn't drink. They didn't cook dinners. They didn't make lunches for us. They wouldn't do our laundry. They
Get
did.
outta
Swear to
here.
God, they did nothing.
Were they religious?
No, they're just really hardworking. And so
What'd
for
they do
them,
for work?
like my dad had like a bevy of jobs, but it was like selling parts for like big machinery, like Hitachis and cranes and construction stuff. But he's exhausted. He would come home and he's like, I just don't want to do anything. So they would lay on the couch or they would go to bed early or what, they'd put on a TV, but they're not watching it. They would, the TV would be on and then they'd kind of be bopping into the kitchen and then
did your
walk
mom work?
outside. My mom also worked and they were
What'd
just
she
tuckered
do?
out. She worked in like an office for a medical facility.
Huh.
So because of them, I'm I want to do everything guy. Like I just wanted, what is it? Like I remember when I had roommates for the first time, like living outside of their house, I was just so stimulated with people doing things. And my roommate's like, I'm getting out here, I'm gonna go get my ears pierced. I was like, I'll get my ears pierced.
Yeah.
He's like, really? I go, sure. And then like I got my ears pierced. I took it out like 2 hours later, but like I just wanted to do what he was doing. And so it's like that. I know that comes from trying to not be like them. I want to do all the stuff.
Do you feel that you are manic? Do you think you have like a low grade bipolar thing?
I don't think so. But I have had to learn how to like be fine with just being alone.
Is it hard to be alone?
No, I'm really enjoying it. But I also don't want to enjoy it too much that becomes, the thing. Because I don't want
to
to
end up like me.
no, I don't want to start going like getting excited to cancel plans or like be that person who's like I can't stand when someone goes, I hate people.
No,
I'm like, I'm people. You hate me?
I think it's just like this year I realized like during the pandemic I kind of started slumping and I didn't really come back from it for a while. So
Slumping
it wasn't
how?
not this year, but the year before. My motto was for the new year was like say yes.
Love it.
When somebody asked me to do something, and I just did. I started going on hikes, or you want to go to the horse races? Yeah. You want to go to Vegas for the weekend? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm throwing a first pitch for the Boston Red Sox. You want to join me?
Yep.
I'll do it.
Yes.
You can be my +1.
When is it?
We'll be on the field, and they'll meet you. They'll probably ask you to do one soon.
No shit.
Yeah.
When is
I'll
it?
get you the dates after this. We'll go together. I'm going to do a show in Boston. I think, do you know, what's the guy, John Tobin?
John Tobin, dear friend of mine.
Yeah, he's a good man. I think we're going to be...
I've known John for 30 years.
Good. Yeah, I really like him.
Yeah.
And he's one of these... He's pretty powerful in our business, and he'll reply to a text. I can text him, and he'll reply.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like
let's
that.
do something. You know what I like to do sometimes? Let's both text John Tobin at the same time.
That's a good game.
And then whoever he texts back wins $5.
I'm into that.
You
Yeah,
got
I like
$5
that.
on you?
Oh, easy. Yeah, well, no, but I got Venmo,
All right.
Trying to be
let's
hip.
do it.
John Toby.
John Tobin. Watch this. You don't even have his number. Okay. Hey, can you call me? Well, I'll say, can you call me? And then you say, I got to tell you a story.
We're both texting the same thing?
Say, can you call me? I'm going to say, can you call me? And then you write, give me a buzz.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
But tell me when you're saying it.
Don't-
Wait, no, not yet. Give me a buzz. Give me a quick, just a buzz. Okay. And
3, 2, 1, send.
it just
why I
went
got
through.
my ringer on.
That's exciting. I like
Yeah,
this game.
John started when I started comedy. He was a door guy at this hell room in Andover, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Where he used to take the tickets, seat people, police the room, pay you, drive. A lot of the headliners had lost their
One-man
license.
gang.
One man gang, and he worked for this guy Dick Darty. And I think
Dig.
he was paying him $200 a week, and he wore a suit.
Nice.
I knew he was going to amount to something because here's the thing about life, and I want to instill this in my children. Work, you know what you're asked for in a job? Most people do about 10% less. Do 10% more.
100%.
And then you will be the person that moves. It's just so fucking simple.
Yes.
And John Tobin would wear a suit, and he would get there early, and he would shave, and he was polite, and it was always 10% more than you asked of him.
Yeah.
And now he's got a dozen clubs, and he's a big wig at Northeastern University.
And he earned it.
He was a city councilman for a while.
Really? I've been beating this drum for a long time about being like, just work hard.
Yeah.
Like, and also like, I hate this attitude. This is in my act even when they're like, well, they don't pay me enough to like, blah, blah. Like, where did this attitude come from?
I know.
Like the reason I dress nice when I'm on stage and stuff, everyone goes, oh, he's doing that for chicks. I dress nice every day. Like I have like casual clothes and then I have like a thing. And I do that because I want them to know like, I'm taking this serious.
Yeah.
I don't just think this is some everyday thing. I'm taking life serious. Like I want to look nice for you. Like I'm whatever. So I'm beating that drum all the time. But
and there's this kid that I mentor. He was I've lived in Venice for like 22 years, and so I've seen a lot of my friends, like their kids grow up.
Yeah.
So this one kid, I've known him since he was little, and he grew up and he went to Emerson University in Boston. Great kid, super funny. And so when he started doing stand-up, I started giving him advice, and then I've taken him on the road, and I watch his tapes. I give him notes. I, try to get him in at the clubs and all this stuff. But I said to him, man, what are you doing? You're wearing a fucking gray, worn-out hoodie on stage. You need a haircut.
Yeah.
You're unshaven. And I ask him for tapes to show to the clubs, and they're really low quality. And I just go, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't want to seem like superficial, but like presenting yourself well is a part of it. There's a million comedians out there. You got to don't give them a reason to say no to you.
Right. Yeah, I think that the successful era of like the Janine Garofalo and this kind of like grungy, like I don't give a fuck or I wouldn't want to make these people laugh anyways was kind of a thing. Like that worked for a long time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that can't last forever. And the grunge era is over. And like that was kind of the exception.
Yeah.
To be that like, oh, they're so confident, like they must. But we can't all be like that because now that's the norm and it's just gross. It's unprofessional.
Although the hoodie thing has very much come back. Well, I think that the style of comedy has kind of come to this. I do shows in fucking laundromats and wherever, and it's very, I think because a lot of comics are coming, there's so little stage time in the main clubs that people are really, creating opportunities for themselves, which I've always said is the other thing I say to young comics. Just start a fucking comedy show because then everyone you book, they book rooms. You get in their rooms. And
very Boston move, too.
Yeah, it's a very Boston move. And
but, I mean, I don't care if I'm doing a laundromat in San Francisco. I'm going to look nice because I want them to go, oh.
Right.
Like, oh, this guy's, he cares.
Yeah, don't dress like it's laundry day.
Exactly, yeah. It's funny, you told me a story, and I've loved to share this on your podcast. There's a guy, and he's just a comic from Louisiana. He hasn't been doing it long. He's this kind of like tough, Louisiana guy, white guy. He's very nice. He's a very kind guy, but he's pretty intimidating looking.
Yeah.
He's got this kind of roughness to him. And he's become a dear friend. But at the time, he was a guy I knew and I liked and whatever. Where during COVID, it's this. There's this round in LA. It was called. Do you remember what that?
Oh yeah,
the outdoor one. The guys were paying a ton. The Houston Brothers room, but I don't know what it's called.
It was great.
Something light. It was like some sort of like. Gosh, I can't remember.
It
what
was behind a club. It was in a parking lot.
It was in a parking lot between two buildings. Yeah. I can't remember what it was called.
It was some hyperbolic name like the great. Super show.
Yeah, Supernova.
Comedy Supernova.
So we're doing Supernova, and the comic on stage makes I think he said fag, right?
Uh-huh.
And instead of a gay guy getting mad, it was, of course, a white girl who was with a gay guy who was like, that's not funny, you can't say that. And the comic is like, what? And then she goes, he's gay. And then the gay guy wants nothing to do with it. He's like, I was fine with you, but also he doesn't want to turn on her.
Yeah.
And she's making this big scene. And me, I know Bill Burr was on that show, but I don't know if he was there. It was like just a lot of like comics waiting to perform that night, and we were like, okay, we were all excited, like let's see him wiggle out of this, And then this girl's just causing a big scene. Now Nate is not on the show. In fact, I don't. And no disrespect to Nate.
Bergazzi?
No, my buddy Nate that I just told you from Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
No, and no disrespect to Nate, but like they would never book Nate at Supernova at that point in his career. Where he was at the time, and he doesn't work for them or anything. We're all like, all right, this comic's getting yelled at by this chick. Let's see what happens. Nate, without missing a beat, walks all the way up to the front of the show where the girl. He goes, "You gotta go." He's like, "Come on," and he's
Was he working there?
No, he wasn't working there. He wasn't on the show. He's not even a comedian in their zeitgeist of booking. And the girl's like, "Excuse me." He goes, "You gotta go. Can't do that here."
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a call from John Tobin.
30 years. You should have got it.
Johnny, you just earned me $5, my friend.
I did?
Yeah, I made a bet. I'm doing a podcast with Jeff Dye, and your name came up. And he's talking about what good pals you are.
No, I didn't say what good pals we are. I said what a good man you are.
He said what a good man you are. And I said, well, you're not as close to him as I am. I've known him 30 years. And so we made a bet. Did you get a text from him around the same time as me?
Yeah, he said, can you give me a buzz? I just came back from a lunch today. I was actually thinking about both of you today. I just told a story about Jeff. I was telling, today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
So two of my favorite
60?
people are us. 55.
55.
Nice.
55. And so I just talked about you guys. I talked about Jeff at lunch about being the first pitch king of Major League Baseball. What's it, 24 teams now, Jeff?
Yeah, this will be, Boston will be like my 25th first pitch.
That.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I wanted him to come. I was saying, John, what we were saying about you was that you're one of the most powerful guys in our business. You're up there, you're daddy in a way, and you'll still like reply to a text. I can't think of many people who will just reply. It always goes through the agents or the managers, or it takes 4 days, and like you're like still an honorable man with power.
He's not an honorable man. He's like a child. He's an insecure little child who's so afraid people won't like him because he's Irish.
Well, that's a very much a comedian attribute, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's why we like it.
Oh, I love both you guys. This is a great treat. Jeff, Fitz, your special is just awesome.
Dude, thank you.
Oh, it is awesome.
I appreciate that.
A little dirty for my taste, you know?
Yeah, Jeff prefers more of like a Taro.
Yeah, I'm more of a Tig comic guy. He didn't take his shirt off or gaslight anybody.
Yeah. So are you going to go to this Boston Red Sox game with him for the pitch?
Well, because Jeff, you're in at Laugh Boston like the next month, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, I don't want to do a show while I'm out there. I just want to hang out.
When's the first, what day? September what?
Let me see. I got all of them on the calendar. Just give me 1 sec.
All right, we can do this off the air. But anyway, listen. Thanks for calling me back first. It was a $5 bet.
Yep.
That I just won. He's going to Venmo me.
I also do think that it would have. I'm so much happier he called you than me. If you've known him for 30 years.
Yeah, that would have been bad blood.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd have been really unfair. You guys are friends.
Yeah. I've actually had him on my podcast.
Let's put the fire under his ass a little bit. John, so now what if me, Fitzdog, and then Matt Rife, what about these big money kids, Like what if Shane Gillis texted you at the same time? Who would have got the call?
It would have been Fitzy.
Yeah,
nice.
Hey, by the way, if you ever get it, when you're in Boston, bring your podcast equipment. This guy is, as you know, one of the great storytellers of all time. Have him on your podcast.
Yeah, well, if Tig isn't available.
All right, brother. Good talking to you.
Don Gavin stories. I'll be happy to share them with you, Jeff.
All right.
I love it.
See you guys.
Take care.
Bye. $5.
I love that Boston accent he's got.
I know, it's great.
Yeah.
So wait, so Nate bounces this girl.
Yeah.
And the gay guy's like, everyone's taking it back.
Yeah.
So then he's like, if you want to, you're welcome to stay. You weren't disruptive, but she's got to go. And if you want to go with her, you're both out. So he bounces both of these people from the show. Mm-hmm. And then We were like, that was amazing. Like, no one thought to do that. He goes, I used to be a bouncer in Louisiana. And I was like, that was amazing. And and to the Houston brothers' credit, they hired him. They go, will you work here? Like, that was amazing that you just took the initiative. And Nate was like, sure. I come back to the comedy club the next night because there's nothing else is doing comedy at the time during lockdown. Right. And Nate is in front of the... he's at the door wearing a slick black suit, working, getting paid. Yeah. And I go, look at you, dude. Yeah. This is amazing. He goes, yeah, they hire me. They're nice guys, And then I go, they had you wear a suit. He goes, nah, this was my idea. Yeah. Like, it's like even that part was like him like being like, no, I'm gonna do the thing.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. And I see PAs because, I've written on a million TV shows and, you're on set and then the PA shows up and the PA has got torn jeans and then they're sitting and they're on their phone. And then the other PA is standing, hands folded in front of them, wide stance, eyes askance, looking for any opportunity to help out.
And that's better.
And the thing is, and then they, things are fucking tough here. Yeah, for you they're tough. That guy with the hands folded, he's working right now.
Climb the ladder. It's also a good way to kill time is by being productive. Like,
That's
work
true.
Is a little more fun when you have things to do.
Yes.
Time doesn't drag.
My father, who I told you was in radio in New York, when things were tough with commercials, because, my father did a ton of voiceovers and because all the VOs were done out of New York way back when. I don't know why, but I guess all the ad agencies were in New York, so they did the radio commercials. And so my father would get ads just by being on the radio. The casting directors would be listening to WNEW. They'd hear my dad's voice. They go, oh, he's perfect for the Cheers campaign. And then he wouldn't even audition. He'd just bring him in and he'd get the ad. But then things dried up because all of a sudden, like, Tom Selleck is doing the VOs and, it's all famous people. And so my dad used to go to the Friars Club in New York.
Nice.
You ever heard of the Friars Club?
Yeah, I love the Friars Club.
And he's sitting there and there's a table full of other VO guys, radio guys, and they're all sitting there and they're bitching and complaining that there's no work. And they look over and there's my father and he's sitting there with two casting agents that he's taking out to lunch.
Same room.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I've never really grasped. I guess I don't know if it's my naivety or like I'm just different or something, but like I don't want to be unhappy. And so it's like, it's not fun for me to be in a bad mood, so I don't want to be in a bad mood. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to not, like, I'll make anything fun. I got a DUI, I had to do all these punishments. I made it fun.
Yeah.
I was, like, excited to be in
you
these,
got a
like,
DUI?
Zoom. Yeah. But I was excited to be in the Zoom classes, to, like, do the thing. I'm like, I'm doing the DUI course. And everyone else
funny
is
if
like...
they made you do Zumba classes if you got a DUI.
I'd prefer that. Lose some weight.
Wait, tell me about the DUI.
It was, well, I don't really want to talk about it much, but like the punishment, I still was like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be excited to do it. Like, because what's the alternative? I still have to do it. Why would I want to be all mopey and like sarcastic and like, I can't believe I'm here.
Right.
It's like, well, let's have a good time with it. Like I worked at Hollywood Video, loved it. And I worked at I worked at all these terrible, what would be considered like terrible jobs, but I had a good time. And it's just, that's a better way to live your life.
And you're bringing, it sounds corny, and I really, I don't do stand-up to bring joy to people. I do it because there's an element in me that's narcissistic. I certainly did it to get laid early on. Like, there was a lot of ulterior motives. And bringing joy to people, and I'm sorry, people that are listening, if I bring you joy, I'm really glad. But that's not the reason I do it. But at the same time, in life, I very much like bringing joy to people.
Yeah.
I like the surly cashier that I go out of my way to be nice to, and I see the frown turn upside down.
Yep.
I love that.
I got a good Tommy Johnigan story about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm very much that what you just described. I love people. I love life. I'm like a dog. I'm like, feel like I'm going to burst with like, I just love life, right? So I'm at Starbucks. I'm with Tommy. We're about to go to a cigar lounge. And I said, hey, good morning. And the girl's like, what can I get you? And I was like, I was just saying good morning. And then she's like, oh, well, good morning. Yeah. And then I go, you like working there? She's like, yeah, it's okay, And we have this little exchange, which is what I wanted. And then I order my stupid coffee. I get Tommy. Tommy walked away when I'm doing the little good morning bullshit. And then I go over to where we pick up our coffee, and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't take much to have these little conversations, instead of just being like a robot. I could have ordered from a robot. I'm ordering from a young lady. I'd like to talk to her, And then Tommy just looks at me and goes, "We're very different people." Just so annoyed. Like, what the hell? He goes, "I don't want to talk to her. I just want my coffee."
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of just how my brain's wired much differently.
Well, I think it is true. I think comedians go one way or the other. And I find that some comedians look at me and they're like, "What is your fucking," and other ones go like, "Man, I wish I could do that."
Yeah.
And
you're very un-Boston.
Well, I'm not I'm actually a New Yorker.
Oh, okay.
But I went to college in Boston.
Yeah.
And then I started doing stand-up while I was in college.
Okay.
And so then after I graduated, I stuck around for a few years. So
Yeah.
I very much consider myself a Boston comic. I'm proud to consider myself a Boston comic.
Yeah.
I started with some of the great people. Me and Rogan and Burr and Louie and Marin and David Cross and Patrice and, Bobby Kelly and Dane. Like, we all started at the exact same time.
That's a hell of a. I mean, and that's like 1/100th of the Boston comics that have came out of it. I mean, it's such a big, probably the greatest scene in comedy history.
Probably,
but you fit none of the stereotypes of Boston.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I definitely have I think I'm in a good mood right now. You and I haven't spent that much time together in our lives, but I think most people would consider me to be pretty caustic, and I get into fights. Yeah,
that's fun. That's very Boston.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were fighty.
Yeah.
Like verbal fights or like fist fights?
Both.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've never been in a fight in my life.
I spent 2 weekends in jail for fighting.
Really?
But I quit drinking as well.
Was that the Irish coming out of you?
I got beat a lot. Both my parents beat me pretty frequently, and me and my brother. I had brothers a year apart from me, so I was like, it was just a natural instinct, and so I just went to it fast. I still fantasize about it a lot.
Yeah.
There was a couple in the front row.
Really?
Thursday night. First of all, you get to the Denver Comedy Works.
You want to get to that next level of your comedy career.
What's that?
Just punch a guy in the front row. You know how much people will talk about that?
It was
They'll
like...
go, Fitzdog? Yeah, he punched a guy.
Yeah, I think audience members would be aware when they came to shows that you had done that. But it's like being on a date with a perfect 10 who's got a great personality, and the table next to you are 3 fucking frat guys from Jersey that are ruining everybody's night.
Right.
And so this couple's up front, and they got their feet up on the stage, and the guy's methy looking, and the woman got her head back, and they're just over laughing and then having comments after every joke. And it's like,
What night was this?
Thursday night. Oh, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so I got so, and I fantasize. And then I leave the show. I got to turn off my ringer now. John Tobin is texting me. And I'm walking back from the club to the condo, and they're out front now, and they're screaming, "Greg!"
Oh, my God.
And I'm about 50 yards away, so I can clearly hear them, and I'm not turning around.
Yeah, you're
And now they're
intentionally
following me, going, "Fucking turn around!" And now I'm like,
now I can fight them without having any. Yeah.
And it took everything in me not to turn around and go punch this fucking guy in the face.
That's hilarious.
And I didn't. But I'll tell you what, though, not drink. How long has it been for you?
313 days.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel good.
And I'll tell you, I'm on the road now for a month straight, except for 2 days.
Nice. But are you actually stopping, or is you just taking a break?
No, I'm on. Oh, no, I haven't drank in 34 years.
Oh, sorry.
But I did smoke pot.
Yeah.
For probably 15 years. Not a lot, not chronically at all. But
well,
like
it's a
sometimes.
different ball game on that.
Yeah, and so, but then I stopped doing that like 4 months ago, and I find that being on the road for 4 months is not good for my mental health, and it's not good for my sobriety. And I find myself at moments like that really reaching.
Sure.
You know?
It rears its head for sure. Yeah.
And so,
also, nobody ever talks about the positives of that of substance abuse. Is like, I think someone might have said it on. Gosh, I wish I could credit the comedian, but there was someone about how like Oh, it was Doug Stanhope, I think, where he's like, nobody talks about how many times I didn't do something terrible because I was drunk.
Yeah.
You know, like how many flight attendants I didn't yell at or punch or something, you know, because you had the sauce and you go, I don't let it slide.
Well, that's a certain type of drunk, though.
Yeah,
Alcohol behaves differently in different people.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I got to think most of those airline freakouts are probably
because of
people that
alcohol
are drunk.
or drunk. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And so, I don't know, but it's hard that there's a condo. Joe Rogan's club is buying. They're so crazy. They're buying a suite in a hotel and like just tricking it out, making it beautiful.
Be great.
And that's where you're going to stay when you work at the mothership.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea for them.
But they call me and they go, we're going to stock it with a bar, and I know you're sober. Are you going to be comfortable with the booze in the room? And I really had to think about it. Like, I really, because I drank one night in 34 years, and that was Kevin Meaney was one of my best friends. When he died, I spoke at the funeral, and I was with his family, and everybody was drinking
He's
hard.
a Boston guy.
He's a New York guy as well, but started in Boston.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
I knew him since I was a little kid.
Really? Yeah, he was a very underrated guy. You don't hear a lot of people reference him.
I really feel like I've never seen anyone kill harder than Kevin Meaney on
also,
his hot
and you
sets.
could correct me if this is incorrect, but from my observation, he felt like a mainstream comic while simultaneously being an alternative comic.
That's a perfect way to say it.
He was doing both camps perfectly, and you're like, this is interesting.
Yeah. And anyway, so the night that his funeral, I stayed at my sister's house, and I was in her. They have like a bonus room that has a fold out couch and a regular couch actually, and a pool table and a bar, and I had like 3 swigs of Chivas Regal.
Oh man.
And it felt really fucking good. But when they asked me about that Rogan room, I was like, I don't know if I'm safe.
Right there.
I don't know if I'm safe alone in a room with booze.
Yeah, especially so like. The reason I said, I don't know if that's a good idea for them to have a condo that has all that shit is because the type of comic that the mothership is kind of fostering or endorsing is all the substances.
Yeah.
You go to that big locked up green room that's at the top.
Yeah.
Everything's on that table.
Yeah.
There is weed. There is a bevy of alcohol. There people are doing mushrooms. I saw guys who probably shouldn't be on anything, taking everything. It was kind of all the things. You know, ever done like a skank fest?
No.
It's just drugs. It's just a lot of drugs.
Coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, in Vegas soon. And so I felt pretty tempted to drink when I was at the mothership, and I'm like, I was pretty young in my sobriety as far as I'm still young in my sobriety, but I think at that point I only had a few months. And I was like, ugh. And I also, in my act, I go, I'm 2 months sober, and the crowd cheers, and I go, it's court ordered, and then that gets a laugh. But it isn't court ordered. I'm using it as
a court ordered
use it as a cheap, an easy
yeah.
laugh, and I've since stopped saying it because I don't want people afterwards to be like, oh, well, it's just court ordered,
No, you made a strong choice, and the thing is when you get through a night like that at the mothership, it's tough, and it really, you feel alienated, you feel anxious, you feel a little angry, and then the next day, you feel fucking great.
Absolutely.
You did it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and you don't get that reward if you...
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
You doing meetings?
I go to one meeting every Wednesday, and I love it.
Okay.
But cause the first AA meeting I ever went to, I was like, these people are losers. I'm never going to do this again. I'm not like these people.
Right.
But it was just a bad meeting. It was like one of these ones that just, kind of was...
Now the new people are looking at you and going, I'm not like going to be like this.
That's the thing. Because they were like... I mean, because anyone could come in, So there was some homeless guys in there, and there was some people that were just really lonely, I think, more than anything. And I was like, no thanks, not for me. And then I got invited to a different AA meeting. And the second I walked in, I was like, oh, this is what I need.
Yeah.
These are people who are like me. They listen. They're all comics. It's like 99% comics.
Oh, really?
So I already knew most of everyone or of them. And it's been like a godsend. It's a kind of that's now my drinking. It's going to these meetings or talking to these people or hanging out with these people and stuff.
Do you have a sponsor?
I got a sponsor. I'm going to start doing the 12 steps only now that all my punishment is over. Because I was already kind of busy with like doing DUI punishment and all these kind of things. But I'm glad it happened now. I'm glad it happened now.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the time, I was not happy about it, but
Yeah.
made something good out of it.
Yeah, it really is. I look back and I look at my life. I started about a year after I started doing stand-up, and it was basically because I didn't want to fuck up the one good thing I had in my life,
Yeah.
And so I look at now, I just celebrate 25 years this month. I've been married. I got 2 kids.
That alone is incredible.
Yeah, I got 2 kids that love me and actually go out of their way to spend time with me.
Love that.
And I have dear friends.
How old are your kids?
21 and 23.
Perfect.
And
They're fun to hang out with.
They're really fun and they're good people, and we
Yeah.
have deep conversations.
Love that.
And it's just I have so many positive things in my life, and I have a lot of gratitude, and that is a big part of sobriety too, is gratitude. Reminding yourself of what you gain from your sobriety.
Yeah, I was just talking to Brant. One of the baristas was like talking to the other barista, and they're just young people, and they were going, I just love that it's a college town. I just love a college town. And I was listening to them say that, and I was saying to Brant, like, it's funny how we change, because like when I was their age, I was like, I love a college town. Everyone's drunk and doing drugs. And then now at this age, I'm like, oh, fuck this town. Everyone's just drunk and on drugs. It's like, but they're doing the same thing.
Right.
But my perception of it's like, like I went to
seemed more interesting when we were.
But yeah, it was awesome. I used to love it, and now
right.
I hate it for the same reasons that it was awesome.
Right.
It's just that I've grown up.
Yeah.
I can't, and that's fine for them. But I can't be that anymore. I don't want to be the 41-year-old at the college party.
No, I don't understand why you get to a certain age when you're in your 50s and you're still, I guess, especially you see somebody at a club at the comedy club, and he's in his 50s and he's drunk and being disorderly, and you're like, have you not figured out the pattern yet here?
Right.
Like, you still think this is okay?
Do you like Jordan B. Peterson?
I don't really listen to him.
Okay, well, he's a phenomenal author and like a
Is
clinical.
he the Canadian guy?
Yeah, from Toronto, the clinical psychologist. I'm like, he's kind of changed my life a lot. Like, in the way of like, I was a big advocate of like, no, let's just have fun. Let's be like kids. Kids get to have all the fun, and why grow up? And it's like I was chasing happiness instead of like meaning.
Yeah.
And he talks about these subjects really well to mostly men like myself who need it. They need a dad. They need someone to say, hey man, grow up. And here's why growing up's good.
Yeah.
But he has a great thing about like, there's nothing like, we love a baby. A baby's great, and a baby's dependent, and a baby's cute, and it's like, but there's nothing worse than an old baby.
Yeah,
When you, like you were just saying, like you see it and you go, oh, you're still doing this? Like that was fine when you were that age.
How many relationships, how many marriages are 2 babies?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, how did you stay married for 25 years? Because we're not fucking babies.
Yeah, we talk, we figure things out.
Yeah, we show up, and like. The thing I always say to my wife is, you're counterpunching. Instead of, I say to her, hey, listen, whatever it is, the thing that's bothering me.
Right.
And then she goes, yeah, but you. Don't counterpunch. Hear what I'm saying.
Right.
Take it in, address it. I'm not saying you have to accept it. You can say, well, I don't buy that, but don't bring up a new thing.
Right. Which is how people should debate politically.
Right.
Don't
Stay
go,
on the
yeah,
topic.
But.
Yeah.
Oh, this policy's this. Mm-hmm. Well, your guy. And I go, hey, what are you doing?
I know.
That's not how that works.
Then you know nothing is accomplished. But like, I really think that like, when you're married to, even if one person's a child, and a lot of times you get this with somebody who's chemically dependent. And I mean, I went to Al-Anon a lot, and just seeing that alcoholism is a family disease, and that people are feeding into it. And the person who is the enabler has just as much of a disease as the
and
the
a
person
thing to work
who's
through for sure.
Right.
Definitely.
So, Anyway, I want to ask you some shit about. I like to at some point in the podcast ask some people a thing or two about themselves.
Let's do it.
You've got a podcast called the Friendship Podcast that you've been doing for like 8 years now?
No. We started to do it and then I stopped doing it.
Oh.
Yep. Doesn't even it still lives somewhere, I think, on All Things Comedy, but I haven't been doing it. I'd like to bring it back, but podcasting is so you've got to really be consistent, and it's expensive. Not for you, evidently. This is, whatever.
No, I send all this to a producer and an editor. You got to pay them? And I pay them to put it up
so I was just paying
media.
all this monthly thing, and then also, like, to get guests is stressful.
Yeah.
Even me, like, I could there was a part of me that's like, I could go to a pool party. Maybe Greg would come to that. We didn't, but so... that part of it's just difficult.
Yeah.
With comedy, I've already done the difficult part, and now it's a very enjoyable process where I generate money. So the podcast is tough, but I do have a wrestling podcast with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome, and
I did
twice
a show
week.
with him once.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
He was probably great to work with, right? He's awesome.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was just such a fun dude. Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people
Yeah.
of all time. And we do a twice a week podcast called Wrestling with Friends, Wrestling with Freddie.
Is it about professional wrestling?
It's about professional. We love wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, and he he's from Puerto Rico. His dad was, and so excuse me, their family's big into wrestling. So he grew up loving it, and then later went to work for Vince McMahon and wrote on WWE, and now his kids are watching it with him.
I heard that's a tough gig. I had a friend who wrote for McMahon.
Terrible.
You would do a match, and then you'd get on the jet that night.
Yeah.
And be looking at scripts for the next day.
Yeah.
And if you didn't work hard, you got fucking ripped apart for it.
Yep.
It
So
was
Vince
brutal.
McMahon, the
And
closest
every week after week after week.
from what I've read about Vince McMahon, he's Jamie Masada.
Uh-huh.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
So and if for anyone that doesn't know, Jamie Masada is the owner of the Laugh Factory, who I love, and the Laugh Factory has been very good to me. But I've noticed men like Vince and Jamie, what their thing is like if you have a good idea, like if you're bad at your job, he will fire you. You are gone. You don't get to be bad at your job here, and you better work hard. But if you're too good at your job, you have an idea that wasn't his idea. Now you're almost a threat to him, and you're gone. So there was it's really hard to please the guy, because if you're too good, he goes, I can't handle it. If you're too bad, he's like, you're out. So it was one of those kind of things. But Freddie lasted a pretty long time, and then ended up just going, the money's not, the juice
The money
isn't
was
worth
not
the
even
squeeze.
good.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
been rich his whole life.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, he's going, why am I doing this?
Doesn't his daughter also help run it? Vince McMahon's daughter?
Well, Vince McMahon is out now.
Yeah.
And it's and Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon weren't involved. Like he didn't leave it to them, which is crazy.
Okay.
Or I don't know how that works
Yeah.
financially. But his daughter married Triple H, a wrestler, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and that guy, Paul is his real name, did marry Vince's daughter, and so she's still in it somehow. But her name's not whatever. So it's complicated. Yeah. So we do that podcast twice a week.
Jesus
and then I
Christ.
have a podcast called, I have a different podcast called Everybody's Got a Price. And so it's me and Josh Nelson, and we ask people how much to shave your head.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And
You
then
want to
they
give me one?
Yeah, well, I'll give you guys, so we'll do a hypothetical one with you
Okay.
because you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not as fun with rich guys.
Right.
Rich guys go, why would I do that? You get a poor guy, he's like, I'll jump down that cliff, for
Yeah.
$50. And then we film it, and then people get to see where their money went.
Right.
So how much to wear a fastball from a major league pitcher?
Where? Oh,
You
get
got
hit by it?
get plunked by a pitch. You get all the gear.
How fast?
Well, you get you get a helmet. You can wear the
Elbow
elbow
pads.
guard, the same thing the players wear. But
Okay.
you got to step in the box, and he's gonna drill you.
I would need...
They usually go fastball because those don't move.
I would need $10,000 for that.
That's pretty good, actually. I thought you'd be a lot higher.
No, because there's a part of me that thinks it'd be kind of cool.
It is cool, yeah. And
Yeah.
also they do it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have.
I love the guys that don't react.
Oh, that's the best.
That's badass.
Isn't that weird about baseball? I've never said this out loud. So if you get hit by a pitch, right, and then you're like, hey man, you just threw a rock at me at 90 miles an hour, you bitch, right to the pitcher. The fans boo the batter
Yes.
for getting mad about it.
Yeah.
It's no, he has every right. That guy just assaulted him.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that part is. He should, if he fights him, that's different. But he should be allowed to be upset.
Well, I think it depends
hurts.
on whether it's intentional. If it's
Very
if you
hard
know
to
there's
determine.
If there's some bad blood and maybe sometimes a guy will hit a homer and
Right.
then he'll point at the pitcher or whatever.
Pimp
then
the
next
home
time
run,
up,
yeah.
Then if he gets up next time, they'll
They'll
give him a little
drill him.
chin
Those
music.
old rules for sure apply. But I'm trying to think, even that, I think that they'd be okay to be dude, like that hurt.
Right.
It's crazy. That like Giancarlo Stanton last night, he gets plunked by a pitcher who almost ended his career a few years earlier for hitting him in the face.
No.
It almost ended his entire career. Giancarlo Stanton's facing him again in the box, and the guy hits him again, high and tight on the shoulder. And then Giancarlo Stanton's like, motherfucker. And then that guy's like, what, bitch? Like, it's like, dude, you're the guy. You think I don't remember you hitting me in the face with a pitch?
Right.
And everyone's booing Giancarlo Stanton. It's like what is that? And then he later hit a home run off of him, and
he did
the same game, and then he bat flipped and then stared him down and pimped it. Yeah,
nice.
But these pitchers,
I like that.
now
That's
that these
a good
pitchers
story.
don't hit, it's so unfair.
The pitchers have to hit. I think football should also be 11 guys, both sides,
That'd
special
be
teams.
awesome. We could start that league.
That would be a good league.
You know, XFL tried to do a thing, and they started their like XFL was like, we're football, but we're not football. That'd have been a good change. That it's got to be the same 11 guys.
The same 11 guys, and if a guy gets injured, now you got 10.
No specialty shit.
Nope.
That's a great idea.
And I think, although I do think they should protect wide receivers more. I am watching this receiver show. It is brutal how these guys get hit because you're looking back over your shoulder at the quarterback, and then some tackle just lines you up.
I'm all about making football more dangerous.
Really?
I know that's not a popular take. Really? Yeah, because my pops is Terry Bradshaw, right?
Oh.
And he talks about like
your pops is Terry Bradshaw?
He's like a dad to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're very close. And
you did a travel show with him.
Yeah,
right.
And we just got really close, and also like I love saying that too, because he's just like he's like this cool guy in my life, and I name drop him at every chance. I love him, but he talks about it. It's like he's like, we know what we're signing up for. It's football, and the reason when I go to like a mall and people shake my hands or people say, "Oh my gosh, Terry Bradshaw," is because they can't do what I can do. Like it takes some balls to be out there. It takes
but he would have done the same thing without.
Why are we
ending
making
up
it
with
so safe?
These concussion disorders that these guys are getting, where they're getting.
They would do it all over again.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have to. Why should you end up with a brain disorder in your old age?
Make it as safe as you can without compromising the game.
Yes.
But don't just start changing things and going, you can't touch the quarterback and we don't tackle.
Well, you can't hit him from behind with the top of your helmet into his helmet.
That's an extreme example.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going for the tackle and then the receiver himself goes down to catch the ball.
Right.
Now it's helmet to helmet. That guy was in...
sometimes they call those
just
tight.
in the zone, and that guy moved into where his stride, and they go, "Hey, that was helmet to helmet." And he's like, "Dude, I was just tackling a guy."
Yeah, but I mean, I would say the change happened about 5 years ago, and I haven't seen the game get noticeably worse.
If they can do that, then that's fine.
Yeah, I just think body to body contact is hard. These wide receivers, man. They sometimes are getting hit by two guys at the same time. And the wide receivers are not built like linemen. I mean, they're fucking all
big
muscle.
Boys,
They're thin, a lot of them, you know? You look at Randy Moss or some of these guys, they got little thin legs and they're just
quick
tall.
guys.
Yeah.
I love when you watch a guy just get clobbered, like, because I'm a Seahawks fan. So we had like the Legion of Boom.
Yeah,
and like their whole strategy was like, just who's the most gigantic athletic black guy that can just smear a guy?
Yeah.
And that was our defense. Brandon Browner from the Patriots, and then we had Cam Chancellor. I'm trying to think. Earl Thomas, who wasn't a huge guy, but he was really lightning quick, so he would go get the guys and then tackle the shit out of them.
Yeah.
But those guys we watched, they just murdered dudes, and I loved that.
Yeah.
And they're going, hey,
you loved it.
That's too much.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what we like.
Because you come from WWE, so you like
these big hits.
But that's pretend intense violence.
Right.
This is real violence. They're not faking it.
But when your team does it, football's it's a gnarly game.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, listen. I want to ask you about this. I went to your Wikipedia page. Bigfoot?
Yeah, I love Bigfoot.
Like on what level? The same level that you like WWE.
So
you don't believe in Bigfoot.
I have a lot of strange interests. But if you want to talk to Terry Bradshaw, don't talk to him about football. Talk to him about horses. He'll talk your ear off.
Yeah.
You want to talk to trying to think of another good example. Like Will Clark loves hunting. You know, you'd want to talk to him about baseball, but he wants to talk about hunting. I love Bigfoot. It's like my thing.
Yeah.
It's my most thing.
Wow.
I love it.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
It's interesting to me. I love the idea that there's this species out there that we all think is preposterous to believe in. It's so likely. You can do so much homework on Bigfoot and then go, oh, I get how this would be real. And then dudes who live like in Manhattan will be like, that's fake. You're like, well, what would you know about it?
Yeah.
You've never read up about any of it on the internet. You've never looked into it.
I was in Costa Rica and I saw a black panther, which you never. Well, everybody's like, we were out with a local who was we're on a boat thing, and he's like. Dude, he's like, you have no idea. He goes, I've lived here my whole life. I've heard about them. I've never seen one.
Yeah, and you know that there's black panthers.
Yeah.
Same with bears. You know, I know guys that have been in the woods their whole life. They never come across a bear. But we know that there's thousands of different species of bears and millions of bears in the. I was at a campsite called Split Rock in California, just camping, and we're up on this big rock and we're just looking out, and it's not a huge. Big property, probably 30 acres or something. And we're looking out, and you don't hear anything. You don't see anything. And I was like, man, how many people are staying there? Because he owned the place. I said, how many people are staying here? He goes, I don't know. I probably got 150 people on the property. I go, there's 150 humans, because it was night. I was like, in these woods. He goes, yeah, they're all out there. They're paying me to be here. And I couldn't see any of those humans, let alone the birds, the squirrels, the coyotes, the wolves.
Yeah.
Now take a nocturnal ape that probably lives like in some sort of cave systems, or at least like hides itself. It could be right next to us. We wouldn't know. The same way that panther could be right next to us. We wouldn't know.
Moon landing.
I could go either way on that, but I'm leaning towards fake lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they say to me, we got 2 astronauts at the space station, and it's going to take us 9 months to get them. And then I think about 1969.
Yeah. Live television. Immediately.
They had no computers. They put a rush on a race to the moon.
Yep.
I had a 69 Bel Air. That fucking thing would break down from Boston to New York. Yeah. They took a 69 motorized vehicle and they took it to the fucking moon and they landed it.
Immediately. Do you notice that like the second they did the broadcast, they're like, we're on the moon now.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's kind of quick.
Yeah.
And like well timed.
Yeah.
Also, what was the other part of that I was thinking of? They killed so many astronauts trying to do it that like at one point you might go, hey, it might just be safer to fake this, fool Russia into going, hey, we did it. You don't have to come here.
Yep.
Look, we put a flag in it. Look, we're playing golf up here. Look, we brought a scooter up here.
And the wind blowing the flag. Like there's I'm like you. I could go either way. Like obviously somebody could talk me down from this in about 30 seconds. But I do think that conspiracy theories are born out of
evidence,
motivation. Well, motivation.
Yeah,
like,
good arguments.
Yeah, like I mean, there's always a series of facts you can collect on anything, and it's just I think it's fun to see somebody who's collected those facts and can present something in a cogent way. And
also, if we're trying to rush Russia to the moon, and you also have an election, you know, Kennedy's trying to go, you know, which by the way, what a speech. We choose to go to the moon. Like, who talks like that anymore? I've never heard that voice.
I know.
That's gone now.
And the funny thing is, he was born in Boston, and he has... People thought it was a Boston accent. People in Boston are like, we don't fucking talk like that.
I've never heard anyone talk like that.
He moved from Brookline to Bronxville, which is Westchester County in New York, and somehow his father didn't talk like that.
Yeah.
Like the brothers Ted talked the same way.
Yeah. I'm friends with RFK. I've never heard anyone talk the way Kennedy talked. And maybe that was a common voice back then, but I've never heard that vernacular.
Right.
We choose to go to the moon. It's like this strange, very Simpsons-y voice.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got to imagine if you kill a bunch of astronauts on TV sometimes in failures, that you're going to have to say, you know, maybe it's a little safer to just say we went there. Let's film this thing. It's good for the country.
All right, we're going to do a thing called Fastballs with Fitz right now.
Love it.
Have you ever borrowed a lot of money or lent a lot of money?
I've done both.
Really?
Yes, I've lent out more money than I'll never get any of it back.
Do you expect when you lend it out that you will get it back?
No, never once.
They say that's the key to lending money.
Yeah, but it's never been a big it's been big amounts a few times, but for the most part, it's 500 here, 1,000 there. It's not like 50 grand or something.
Has it affected the friendships in any case?
Nope, no, it hasn't.
And you've borrowed? Who did you borrow from?
I borrowed from Terry Bradshaw.
You did?
Yeah, but not on purpose. It was I was like closing on my first home, and famous move if you ever like buy a home. They're so casual with our money. These real estate people and the lenders and all that. They're like, oh, just give us another 50 grand more and we can get. And you go, don't casually ask me for like 50 grand more.
Yeah.
So I'm in Marrakesh with Terry Bradshaw, and we're on this little rickshaw and we're going to these nice little places, and it's fun and the spirits are high, and we lean on Terry as our leader for like positivity and happiness, and usually I'm pretty up there too, being happy and positive. We're like dogs, And I'm all now stressed. We're on a different time zone. They're saying I need 50 grand, or this house we might not be able to close, or I don't even know if it was 50 grand, whatever the amount was. And then Terry goes, listen, bub, I'll give you the money, but we got to turn around this. You don't talk about it no more. We'll get it figured out, like a dad. And I was like, okay. And they him and his wife let me borrow the money.
And you paid him back.
I'm trying. Yeah. Yeah, I've been real slow to pay them back. I was going to sell my car to give them the money, and they're like, listen, no rush. Like, just take your time on the thing.
So it's not affecting the friendship?
No.
It's amazing how often you bring up Terry Bradshaw.
I love
Jesus
Terry Bradshaw.
Christ.
He's the best.
What have you turned down recently?
Quite a few TV things.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not very fond of acting. So unless it's a very good role that I like, that I'll enjoy working on, or maybe there's someone on the project that I would love to meet or work with, I'll do
imagine they try to cast you as like autistic pretty often. And you're just tired of playing that.
Tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, enough's enough. Well, it's like TV's dying. And so they make these terrible projects, and I'm like, I don't want to be stuck in a trailer memorizing someone else's crap jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no offense.
Hey, listen.
That was a shot at the writers, and I didn't mean for it to be. These sitcoms.
I don't mind if people resent the jokes. Just fucking do it. I get these actors that come on, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I made some change. Oh, did you? Because we had 12 guys from Harvard pour over this for a week straight. And the reason why this line is that way is because it's an 8-episode arc, and we're paying off something from 3 episodes ago and setting up some. So you going into your fucking
wouldn't this be funnier?
Your studio apartment in North Hollywood, and this is your first acting job, and you're gonna punch my shit up? I got 4 Emmys, you little fucking cunt.
Do you know? Do you ever hear the story about the Coen brothers on The Big Lebowski?
I know that they were very.
Every word in The Big Lebowski, which is my favorite film,
Every word.
it was in the script.
Yeah.
So I guess, as rumor has it, or at least how I heard it, was that Steve Buscemi, Jeff Bridges, and Walter Solchek, John Goodman, they do one of the bowling scenes that's kind of in the in the middle of the movie. They shot that first because they had the bowling alley for all the bowling alley scenes. And I guess they were all riffing. And it was the first day everyone's excited to be on set, and they're like riffing, and they're doing this thing. It's so hilarious that they go, cut. Even the cameraman's bust up laughing, and everyone's having a great first day. And then one of the Coen brothers comes and goes, hey guys, that was great, but let's read the fucking script. Basically just goes, we're going to do what the script is.
Yeah.
And it was a message to them. Like, we're not doing this. This isn't a Will Ferrell movie where you just decide what you're going to say and whatever. And that's why that movie's so great. Because the actors are phenomenal, and they act. And the writers are phenomenal, and they wrote.
Yep.
And that's a key part of it.
No, Glenn Ross. They talk about who was the guy that directed that. Anyway, he's the same way. He says if your action is to walk to the table and pick up the glass of water, don't ask me why. Walk over to the table and pick up the glass of water. It's
perfect.
That's all.
I like coaches or teachers or bosses like that. Like, I'm very teachable.
Yeah.
If I do the read bad, just tell me. Just go, hey Jeff, that's not the read. We'd like it like this, and I can give you that.
Yeah.
But if you pussyfoot around me and go like, well, we were kind of like, I'm like, just lead me, direct me, motherfucker. You're the director. Yeah.
All right. Last question I'll ask you. What's the hackiest bit you've ever done?
Ooh, good question. What a fun question. I used to do a lot of like little tricks, like little road tricks. I'm trying to think of some of them. Here's a good one. It's your birthday, some birthday bullshit. I say, oh, I know never to ask a woman's age. You know, how much do you weigh? Yeah. Fucking, I did it 1,000 times. I'm trying to think. It was little tricks like that you just pick up that were, who knows who wrote that? That's like the oldest.
Yeah.
It's like older than vaudeville, you know?
Yeah. There's always like the somebody walks into the show late. You say, "Can I get you something?"
Yeah.
Like a watch. I mean, that's just gonna.
Oh yeah, your feet are on the stage. Oh no, are you a performer? And they go, no. Then why are your feet on my stage? These kind of little things.
Right. And then some acts literally build in. I won't mention them. Well, there's one comedian who literally his entire act is quote unquote crowd work. Yeah. But it's the same setups every time.
Yeah. There's a very, very successful comedian. I'll just say who it is. It's Eliza Schlesinger, and she'll be killing. And she'll be like, I like this half of the room. You guys are better than this half of the room. And then she goes, this room is like a patient who had a stroke. This part's doing fine, but this half is like, she's basically comparing, and she must like that joke so much because she'll be doing fine. So then half of the other room is like, what the fuck? What are we doing wrong? We're not like, so it doesn't even work, but she's still so committed to saying that to the crowd.
Yeah.
That's a very confusing choice. Like,
now, didn't she beat you in Last Comic
Yes, she did. She did beat me.
First
place.
And here you are.
Hey, she's doing a lot better than me, I'll tell you that.
Here you are in a condo in Denver.
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't change my life for anything. No. I'm very blessed and I'm very happy. I'm a nice person with a great reputation. She's a very angry, cold woman that has a terrible reputation, and she's got more money than me. So good for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jeff Dye, if you want to see him, and you should, this guy is a first-rate. Talk about headliners that are there because they got a hot Instagram account or they're on a fucking sitcom from the 90s. Like, this is a guy who made his bones coming up, doing good, hard stand-up, and you killed the other night. You came on my show. I was happy to see you. He's going to be in Houston, Tulsa, Medford, Mass, Vegas, D.C., Colorado Springs, Boston, Springfield, Mass, West Bend, Indiana, Chicago, Madison. Just go to jeffdye.com. Buy yourself some tickets. Check out a link to his new podcast that he does with Freddie Prinze called Wrestling with Freddie. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming down, man.
Yeah, we'll go to the pool party. Let's get some shorts on.
Just send me photos.
All right.
All right, see ya.